Okay, so I believe we can get started. So first I will introduce Nicole. So Nicole just graduated from high school this year. She's going to be starting undergraduate studies at the University of Washington starting next month, I believe. Nicole has experience working as a volunteer with organizations since 2015. I believe that's remarkable, given that she's very young. And also last year she was a summer intern at Microsoft. This year she joined omegaUp as an intern through a program called Labs. So that program lasted for 4 weeks, and after those 4 weeks she decided to stay like 6 weeks more or so, and so she's going to be presenting the work that she did in these 10 weeks or so that she's been working with us. So thank you very much, Nicole, and the mic is yours.
Okay, thank you, Hugo, for the introduction, and thanks everyone for joining. Can you see the PowerPoint? Okay. So my project was course analytics. My name is Nicole Smith, and I would say that my mentor was Carlos. So the project course analytics is basically different information about courses and displaying that information, such as student progress over time, different statistics about problems, and eventually we want to do things like how many students have joined the course and how many students have joined over time. And so the course that I worked on was the student progress bar and course statistics. And the student progress bar is basically representing how students did on each problem with a box that has a color. And so you can easily see which problems students solved and what problems they didn't solve and which problems they maybe partially solved. So it's more information than just a percentage, and it's easy to see all the colors quickly. And the course statistics is a set of graphs of various statistics on problems such as average score, minimum score, maximum score, things like that. And so it's a more in-depth analysis on how students did on each problem. So I will demo Can you see the screen? Okay. So here's the progress bar on the Python course. And so green means they solved the problem, red is they got a low score, yellow is medium score, gray is they got 0%. And so you can see which students have solved which problems, where they maybe got partial credit, and which problems they didn't solve. So you can see maybe where some students have solved all of them, or some students haven't solved any, and so you can see the progress on the course very easily. And then the course statistics, here's the variance, average score. Some problems have a lower average. You can see that Hello World has a higher average because it's an easier problem. It's also one of the first problems, so students are more likely to solve that one. Students scored above 60% is helpful to see how many students actually solve the problems. Mm-hmm. And students scored at 0% is how many students didn't solve the problem or didn't try at all. Mm-hmm. And then minimum score will almost always be 0, and maximum score will usually be the maximum score of the problem. And average submissions and verdict distribution was pushed, but it's not in production yet. So here's an example of it. The average number of submissions for each problem, and then verdict distribution, so you can see what students got. And this one's really helpful, so you can see like where students might have a lot more tries on the problem and what they actually got for that. And we'll switch back. And then what I worked on was the front end of the progress bar and the course statistics. I used Vue.js to create the components. Bootstrap was new to me as well, and I used that a lot for the progress bar to actually create the boxes and style them. And then TypeScript I've used before, but I use that to a lot with the course statistics to try and get each statistic and get them into a format that the graph options can use. And then I did parts of the course statistics backend. Carlos did the main query, SQL query, but I added on some of the metrics. I also created the verdict distribution metric. Then PHP, I created types, which was new to me. That was really interesting. It helped me kind of understand how to connect the back end and the front end. Mm-hmm. And then, I connected all the layers together. And the challenges I had, the SQL was probably the most frustrating because it is very different from what I've done before, and it's very hard to tell what I did wrong, because when the page doesn't load, that's how I knew something's wrong, but I don't know what was wrong. So what helped was looking at previous queries and seeing how those were structured and how I could mimic that structure. And also, like I said, the types helped me understand what the backend was actually getting and how those queries were sort of structured and what each part was getting from the database. Another challenge I had was using Bootstrap. It was sort of like I was fighting with it to try and get the right style for the boxes, and looking at documentation and just trying different things until it worked, and looking at sample code helped. And then the final challenge was understanding how Vue works, because it has a certain structure and different parts to it that I had to learn, and the Vue.js documentation, debugging to see what parts I'm missing and maybe where I'm missing things or where parts aren't connecting, and then code review, which is sending my pull request and then seeing where I can improve, really helped me understand more of it. And then for the future, of course, we want to add more analytics, there's the design document, and that's all. Q&A. If anyone has any questions.
Yeah, so what's the part of the project or parts of the project that you enjoyed the most working on?
I think I really enjoyed doing the front end of the course statistics. Mm-hmm. Even though it was really hard, it was a fun challenge, and also I know some TypeScript, so I could use that knowledge and kind of learn a few new things. So I really like that part.
Cool. And yeah, another question. Yeah, so you were working on adding this statistical analysis to the courses feature, but I don't know if you had the chance to use other parts of the platform, and I would like to hear what was your experience doing that, if you did, and what do you think would be the biggest areas for improvement in the omegaUp platform?
So the only thing I really used was I did solve a problem on my own.
Okay.
And I think the whole grading thing was really easy, but I sort of had trouble finding the button to see the different cases.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a label for saying your answers and then the true answers, because I think it was just green and red.
I see.
So
yeah, that makes sense. Are there questions from anyone else?
Is my mic working? Yes, it seems like it's working. Hi, Nicole. So you mentioned that updating the SQL was a challenging part because it didn't give you good feedback about what was going wrong. Do you have any idea of what we should do to improve that experience from your point of view?
I mean, I don't know if there is a way to give feedback on the SQL part.
Got it. Yeah, I'm trying to think if this was hard, if you found this challenging, then probably other people will find it challenging as well, and we want to make sure that the experience is as easy as possible. So yeah, if you do have any other feedback regarding the tools that you use or the processes or whatever that you think got in your way, like you said, the Bootstrap was getting in your way as well, please let us know and we'll try to fix those.
Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of it is just trying to understand the different tools. So I think it was good once I understood them, and with the SQL, it was a lot of the times it was just my query didn't work. So as long as I knew that didn't work, then I could go back and see where I need to fix things.
Yeah, and thank you very much, Carlos, for mentoring Nicole. You also did a lot of hard work there. Are there any questions from anyone in Spanish? ¿Alguien tiene preguntas en español que quiera hacer?
Great work, Nicole. Thank you very much.
I like so much seeing your work and also see you again because you interned last year in my team in Microsoft. So see you again. I hope that you have a wonderful experience working with omegaUp. I hope that you continue collaborating and volunteering in the future with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everybody, especially Carlos, Hugo, and Luis. I definitely learned a lot, and it was a really fun experience to actually work on something and then immediately see it in production so that people can use it.
All that stuff that is not still in production, when is planned to be ready?
This Saturday, tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it is also worth mentioning that we have this project with many high schools in Mexico where they're going to start using omegaUp to teach their classes. The project is going very well, and this project is going to have, it's going to be directly used by, I don't know if it's
hundreds.
Yeah, it's probably hundreds of teachers in Mexico, and therefore it's going to have impact in thousands of students. So yeah, this is great. Thank you very much, Nicole. And,
Hugo,
yeah.
perdón, una pregunta.
Sí.
Bueno, llegué un poco tarde y no sé si ya lo mencionaron al principio. No sé dónde estudia Nicole, cómo es que llega a omegaUp y cómo es que está involucrada. Normalmente hay algunos alumnos que son de México y porque los conocen y esto llegan. ¿Cómo es que Nicole está en este proceso?
Sí. Bueno, sí, Nicole es de Redmond, y acaba de terminar la prepa y está a punto de empezar la universidad, en la Universidad de Washington, y bueno, está en omegaUp a través de un programa que se llama Code Labs. Entonces, sí, este programa de Code Labs, Nicole empezó con un equipo de, bueno, eran tres interns, todos muy jóvenes, como de la edad de Nicole. Y bueno, al final de este programa nada más dura 4 semanas, y después de las 4 semanas Nicole decidió quedarse,
Okay.
Y en total ha estado 10 semanas. Sí, así fue como llegó Nicole.
Yeah. Gracias.
Nicole, I was just telling Herman about how you got into omegaUp, basically. Are there any other questions from anyone? Okay, so I think that's it. So thank you very much, Nicole, for the presentation, and thank you very much, everyone, for attending.
Thank you.
Gracias. Nos vemos.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.